Hello, Internet. The name's James. James Wilson, to be specific. I'm a 12-year-old boy from South Africa. My parents are both from the U.S., and they decided to move here and have me. I am recording this on my dad's new computer. Not everyone here has a computer, though. South Africa has extremely high rates of poverty. Another major problem in South Africa is HIV. Many people have it, and it can be deadly. So it's safe to say that Africa needs to work on these problems of poverty and HIV. I have lived here my whole life. I live with my parents, but I am a single child. I have done so many things here and seen so much. One memory that sticks with me is going to the Drakensberg National Park. I went here with my parents, my uncle, and my cousin. The mountains towered over me in this really cool way. It arced around and the landscape surrounded me. Another memory of travel was going to Cape Town. I saw the most impressive architecture in the most depressing neighborhoods. I saw the picture-perfect beach and the roughest homes. Many people don't know about the slums of Cape Town, but they exist. It makes me sad to think that there are so many people that have never held on to more than $1 in a city so glorious. One place that I haven't been to, but that I want to go to, is the Mafati Peak. It is the tallest mountain in South Africa at 11,306 feet. After visiting these places, I discovered that I'm pretty lucky. Probably the worst thing that I experience here is natural disasters. Earthquakes are common in South Africa, as well as floods and droughts. Many of the earthquakes are caused by large-scale mining because it releases built-up elastic energy in the tectonic plates. There isn't much rain in South Africa, but when there is, there's a lot. I remember this one time when we had so much rain that our yard turned into a pond and the grass just floated away. South Africa is very geographically, and I can tell from traveling. I've met people who have spoken all sorts of languages and work in all sorts of jobs. I have met miners and farmers and entrepreneurs. I did some research, and 50% of farms grow cultivated grains. 53% of farms grow fruits and veggies. 37% of farms produce poultry, and 49% raise livestock. I also researched religion. I forget the numbers, but the majority of South Africans practice Christianity. I go to a public school. My favorite class is probably geography because I get to learn about my country. I learned about apartheid, which was a time of segregation and suffering. In fact, I just had a project on that. I made a poster with many famous people during apartheid, like former President Nelson Mandela. I also learned little facts in school too. For example, the life expectancy in South Africa is 64 years old. I learned that the date of independence for South Africa is May 31st, 1961, and that the GDP per capita is $6,001. I love my country. It is a place that I find beautiful. Throughout the country, the landscapes are magnificent. I have met people from all walks of life. I have heard countless stories that need to be heard. There are people who don't make enough money to live in a sufficient home. And there are places that could supply enough beauty and tranquility that I can't even describe. Anyone who has visited South Africa knows it is unique and that everyone who lives there deserves to experience the beauty around them. Unfortunately, this isn't the case. There are people in South Africa who have never left their neighborhoods, and this is especially true in the worst ones. Remember when I talked about the slums of Cape Town? Let's visit that place one more time. This is an example of poverty of South Africa. If this isn't enough, let me give you some statistics. 57% of people in South Africa are in poverty. 57%. Because of these high rates, people don't get a formal education, so they can't get jobs. They're stuck in this cycle, and escaping is nearly impossible. Another problem many people in South Africa face is HIV. 14% of South Africans have HIV, and that is not good. People may lose the ability to fight off illnesses, and that is one reason why the life expectancy in South Africa is so low. How can we fix this? I have two solutions. My first is to expand public education. If people have access to this, they can receive jobs. The dominoes fall from here. People can buy houses, purchase medication and treatment for the illnesses they would most likely die to if they still lived in poverty. Education can do so much, but it can only do so much. Next, the government needs to use their money to create programs and fund them. This can be in the form of homeless shelters, charity, and food banks. People, citizens of other countries, and citizens of South Africa can donate money to help the less fortunate. South Africa's economy is developed enough that they can afford to do this, and they can help the people who need it. South Africa has problems it needs to address. Poverty, HIV, infrastructure to help defend against natural disasters. South Africa is beautiful, and the struggling communities of South Africa deserve better. There's so much more in this country, and the fact that people don't even know what is just a few miles away it makes me sad. There's so much to be found in this country, and there are problems, and there are people who are victims of those problems. Goodbye, Internet. The name's James. I hope you learned something today from my video. Peace!